The officials, Courtney Green, Terry Oglesby, John Gaffney, Sunday in the Big Ten. Third-ranked Purdue and Maryland, and it's the Boilermakers that control the tap.
One thing to watch out for, Brandon, Maryland has struggled defensively, last in the Big Ten at 2-point field goal position.
And there you go. What a start for Purdue and Zach Edey.
Purdue does such a good job of moving Edey around, giving different angles to enter the post. Maryland got their hands full.
Purdue 18-1. Their only loss here, January 2nd against Rutgers. Outside of that, they've been perfect. Here is Jahmir Young. Great pass inside. Reese attacks, but can't get it.
Reese looked like he was trying to draw the foul instead of going to dunk. Get to the rim before the big fella can adjust.
And Zach Edey's so hard to draw fouls on. He's been under 2 fouls a game this year for Purdue with all the block shots. And driving inside, Braden Smith, one of the talented freshmen from Purdue, gets fouled.
But you'll see this quite a bit. Purdue will do a lot of different things to enter the ball into Zach Edey. And if you don't have help and you're not pressuring that pass, that's going to be the result most of the afternoon.
Zach Edey, second in the country in rebounding, top 15 in points, 3-time Conference Player of the Week. And as you said, a lot of folks think the front runner right now for National Player of the Year.
I would say so. And if there was a stat to talk about improvement from year to year, he would be in that conversation as well.
Yeah, the junior's been sensational, as has the freshman that just hit those 2 free throws, Braden Smith, coming off a spectacular game Thursday in their win against Minnesota.
Caleb First has got to be up on that ball screen action. If Ethan's going to push up like that, he's got to know that there's a screen coming.
Dante Scott kicks it out. Here's Young, catch and shoot. And the rebound to Edey. Braden Smith pushes down the lane. Maybe a little too fancy, but it worked out. Boy, Smith is quick.
Yes, he is, and he looks aggressive in trying to get to the paint here early on.
Matt Painter said after the last game, I liked that he was more aggressive offensively, and I think we're seeing that continue. And this is an offensive foul. It's on Edey. Well, Kevin Willard, first game as a head coach facing the Purdue Boilermakers. Of course, the years at Seton Hall, and now his first in College Park.
Kevin Willard really got some excitement going around the program there. That 8-0 start. Still adjusting to life in the Big Ten, but great hire for the Maryland program.
Yeah, the 8-0 start, 4-6 since. But remember, when they were 8-0, they were ranked top 15 in the country, but they've stubbed their toe a bit since that time.
Got to get some scoring support for Jahmir Young. This is one of the candidates right here.
Yeah, Dante Scott, one of the senior captains, gets the bounce.
That's a tough shot going away from Kaufman-Wren. And this pressure, we'll see how Purdue handles this. Braden Smith has been outstanding. And, I think he and Fletcher Lawyer, Brandon, have really bucked the trend in terms of freshmen handling pressure. They don't flinch.
Here's Morton. Smith off the shot fake. Whoa! A little too much razzle-dazzle, and Braden Smith turns it over.
And Dante Scott in the post. Kaufman-Wren, good position here, but it's not going to matter. Fade away, gets the roll. It's a nice deuce for Maryland.
Dante Scott was actually sick early in the week, but felt better Thursday and played 38 minutes of the win against Michigan. Off the mark for Carey, but Carey tracks it down. Would have been a fantastic save, but he throws it away. And Matt Painter, 402 wins. The guys with 400 wins as a Big Ten head coach at one school, guys named Knight, Izzo, Lou Henson, and Gene Cady, who was also, of course, here at Purdue.
I'm telling you, and here's the thing, Matt Painter is young. So he's got a lot more time to accumulate those wins. And the way that their program has been able to recruit and develop talent is unparalleled in college basketball.
So much consistency. Into the shot clock. Lawyer. Whoa, the bank is is open on Sunday in West Lafayette.
Oh, man, I looked at Matt Painter to see his reaction. There was a blank stare. Like, he knew he got a gift there, as did Fletcher Lawyer.
And there's a foul. And they're going to say offensive. Illegal screen on Don Carey.
Well, under duress, it's better to sometimes be lucky than good, and Fletcher Lawyer's both. That's a nice follow-through off the glass.
Co-Big Ten Player of the Week. He shared that with Rutgers' Cam Spencer. And the first freshman at Purdue to get Big Ten Player of the Week since Robbie Hummel, our colleague back in 2008, did it.
That's a heck of an accomplishment. Like all these players in the Big Ten.
Is it ever? Kaufman ran off the mark, and Maryland scoops it out of there.
Maryland's going to have to look to push, make or miss, in my opinion, because it's going to be too difficult to score against this Purdue defense in the half court.
Caleb first with a rejection. Kaufman scores it.
Oh, Caleb first doing a great job of sealing off the defender, allowing Kaufman the easy waltz to the bucket. Maryland a little disjointed here on this possession. Not on the same page what they're trying to do.
Hart, though, gets in the lane. Can't tap it back. Well, Maryland is just 1 of 8 to start. Lawyer to the rim.
Wow.
A battle for the board. Boy, is it physical in there. Freshman to freshman there. Smith to Lawyer.
Obviously not the start the Terrapins would have preferred. They got to find one.
Boy, they needed that. There's the Georgetown transfer, Don Carey.
Boy, Carey has struggled shooting the basketball. That might get him going. And he's a guy that had a really good career in previous stops before coming to Maryland, but has struggled to find the range.
Yeah, he's still under 30% from deep this year, but career near 40%. Backdoor pass knocked out. It'll stay here after the media timeout.
He's in better position. He's much stronger than he was when he first got to campus, and his work is paying off in droves. This guy is dominant.
Yeah, 41 blocks and now 28 fouls on the season. Just a crazy statistic. Into the shot clock here. Morton just inside the arc, and he got it.
Boy, Julian Reese and Zach Edey they're sumo wrestling down in the post. Matt Painter talking to Courtney Green right now. Something's going to have to be done.
Oh, Reese drawing Edey away from the basket and hitting the 18-footer.
I think Julian Reese has a lot of potential. He just has not found his consistency yet, but guy got a lot of game.
Leading rebounder for Maryland, scoring 10 points a contest. Edey double-teamed, and he's fouled. It's been so interesting this year, Stephen, to see how different teams elect to guard Zach Edey, but he typically always sees some form of a double, sometimes a triple team.
Yeah, he has to, because if you try to guard him one-on-one, he's going to have high percentage shots, he's going to foul out your front line, or he'll get open looks for his teammates.
Here he is. Here's a double team, and that one, he got fouled again. And we talked about Edey and not fouling. Julian Reese just picked up his second, and that has been his Achilles heel all season.
Well, if you look right here, I mean, it's a pretty clear foul that you can't swipe across a guy's head. I know he wants to go for the block shot. Edey's 7'4". You might as well stay on the ground, build a wall, and try to make him finish over the top.
So this is going to be a key point to mark. 13:35. Reese goes to the bench. They have Patrick Emilian, backup post player, out the last couple, including today with an ankle injury. So the freshman Callum Swanton-Roger, number 35, is going to come in here and log some important minutes.
And I think that you'll see Maryland probably go to some sort of zone or changing defenses because, you know, with their lineup right now and the way that Purdue's been able to get the ball to Edey, they're going to have to change something up.
Scott, he had it, but he knocked it out of bounds, so it will stay with Purdue.
You know, there's a small margin of error to begin with when you're on the road against a team like Purdue, but you got to come up with those plays if you want to remain competitive.
Skip into Gillis, but before that, a foul inside, and boy, Edey is just wreaking all kind of havoc. And the foul is going to be on the aforementioned Callum Swanton-Roger. And I talked about Patrick Emilion. Game time decision, missed the last two with an ankle injury, but he just checked into this game.
Well, you see right there, Edey in that lane area, just so difficult to defend.
Off the underneath, out of bounds. Fletcher Lawyer hits a mid-range jumper. Purdue's up 9.
So this balance, Brandon, that Purdue possesses on the offensive end, you can't stop everything. You've got to pick your poison.
And Jameer Young cannot get the bounce.
Boy, Young showed his quickness there.
Body's falling again. Edey tumbling to the ground at almost 300 pounds, and now here's another whistle. My goodness, the fouls are just piling up against Maryland. That is 2 on Swanton-Roger. So you got 2 post players with a pair of fouls, and we haven't even played 7 minutes.
Well, they're trying to really be physical with Edey before he hits the paint area, and you just can't do that. I know you want to be physical and try to keep him from where he's going, but we got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, Edey's 290 pounds.
And Edey scores it against Swanton-Roger.
Nice touch there on that finish. Oh, what a screen.
Swanton-Roger had it taken away by Jenkins.
The game seems a little bit too fast right now for Swanton-Roger, to be honest. There he goes again. He just bumped Edey once again.
Got to be careful. He could pick up his 3rd. Kick up top. Fletcher Lawyer. Maryland dodged a bullet, but an offensive rebound. Oh, boy. Purdue is rolling early. Timeout, Maryland.
When you put your front line in position of being foul trouble, it's just a tough start, you know, to not have your full complement of starters on the floor.
2 fouls already on Julian Reese and backup postman Callum Swanton-Roger, who is still on the floor.
This looks like Maryland's going to try to run their offense by getting Hakeem Hart in the post and working off of him.
Another good look for Don Carey, but he cannot get it. Knocked out of bounds. It will stay with Maryland. Maryland is just so undersized, and Purdue is, by the numbers, the best rebounding team in the country.
Because they have, not just because they have Zach Edey, but they have a strong pursuit to the basketball on both ends. Mason Gillis is extremely hard to keep off glass. Caleb First goes hard all this time.
Purdue is already +6 on the glass. Gillis almost got a steal there.
You know, forget the X's and O's. If you don't match the intensity to start with Purdue, they'll run you out of the gym pretty quickly. So you've got to know that that's coming and be prepared.
Jameer Young, leader on the team in points and assists. The transfer gives it up. Here's Hakeem Hart, one of the senior captains. Trying to get into the paint. Little push shot. He got it, and he's fouled by Brandon Newman.
Boy, that was an unorthodox shot there. Nice job by Hakeem Hart. I think he caught Newman a little off guard with that. The spin and the one-hand runner. That's a tough shot. Boy, did the Terrapins need that one badly. Now they can get to the line. Hopefully Hart can hit this for Maryland, and then they can set up in their defense, expect some full court pressure.
Hakeem Hart, he and Dante Scott, the 2 seniors, both from Philadelphia, both captains. They're the heart and soul of this program. But he leaves the free throw short. David Jr., senior, brings it up. Lawyer. Edey so patient in the post. Just so good. It's like surgical, Stephen.
It is. And you know what? That was not bad defense. And you're going to have to live with some of those because he's that talented. He gets it down in that area. It's pretty tough to stop. And you might as well not foul. Just make him finish like that.
Hart from the wing. Way too much. Lawyer grabs it. Gillis back to Lawyer. Jenkins open three. Yes.
The ball movement is excellent right now for the Boilers.
Another timeout taken by Kevin Willard as this thing's ballooned to 16.
Well, Purdue on the push. Maryland trying to respond, but they're a step slow on the rotation. Jenkins gets a wide open look. And here's the paint crew.
One of the, if not the best, student sections in the entire country.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun. They're very loud. They're orchestrated in their cheers, and they get after it in here. Make it very difficult for the opposing team.
Stephen, Purdue, 12-2 run. They've hit 7 of their last 8 shots. Maryland already in foul trouble, and I just don't know where they turn right now.
Well, I know that Kevin Willard was not pleased with Jameer Young, and that's why Jameer is going to the bench. There was a loose ball that he did not go after to the liking of Kevin Willard, and that's why they called the timeout there. Willard trying to find a group of guys that are going to compete.
Yeah, so to your point, Young is now on the bench, and that's your leading scorer and your top assist man. Reese is back in with 2 fouls.
And Reese had some success early on, pulling Edey away from the bucket. Let's see if they can get back to it.
Edey with another rejection. And then a tie-up. The possession arrow will keep it with Maryland.
Cornish trying to get downhill a little bit and thought he had enough airspace, but I think he forgot that Edey's 7'4". You gotta be a little bit further away than that.
Cornish, he's only played 12 minutes the entire month of January. As you can tell, Kevin Willard right now just searching for some answers.
Yeah, you know, he's trying to send a message to his team. It's like, look, forget the score. Can we compete? That's what coaches want to see right now.
There was a discussion about whether they should put the shot clock up at 20 or keep it at 4, and they are going to put it at 20 off the tie-up. They say there was a change of possession, or not a change of possession. Here's Martinez driving inside, stops, and gets it off the window. Good bucket for Ian Martinez.
I like Ian Martinez. He gets after it defensively. Like Kevin Willard loves his intensity, his ability to score when given the opportunity as well.
Second year at Maryland for Martinez after starting his career at Utah.
You see, I like this adjustment by Maryland. Man-to-man wasn't working. The front line was getting in foul trouble. And now they pick up an offensive foul on Mason Gillis.
Just the 3rd foul on Purdue, the 1st on Gillis.
So you give yourself another possession here. If Maryland can get a high percentage look, maybe they can develop some momentum, try to get back in this game.
Caleb First back in, Gillis to the bench. This is Jahari Long with the basketball. He spent the last 2 years at Seton Hall with his head coach Kevin Willard, and now in College Park with the Terrapins. Whistle and an offensive foul. We've seen a few of those already, and now on back-to-back possessions.
Cornish was just in bad position there. It looked like he turned and tried to set the screen. He wasn't set and picked up the offensive foul.
And to the bench he goes. Hart returns.
Now Maryland back in the man-to-man defense. You know where they're Purdue trying to get the ball.
Right here, 15. Caleb first.
Well, he does such a good job of playing off of Edey. The active power forward can stretch the floor, shoot the three. But boy, he loves getting on the offensive glass.
Sophomore who was Indiana Mr. Basketball from Blackhawk Christian High School in this state. Along with a drive and kick, Martinez gets the three.
See, Martinez got that, what was that, 6 to 8 footer to go. Now his confidence is elevated.
He only averages 6, already has 5, but Maryland still down a Baker's dozen.
Nice switch back into the zone, so three consecutive times for Purdue. I like this approach by Maryland.
And they force a turnover. Five turnovers for Purdue, 3 for Maryland. Several of those have been offensive fouls. Deep range, Dante Scott barely drew iron. Morton saves it.
Dante Scott is determined to get that shot up. I thought that was a little quick. He had the wing, back your defender down, utilize the size advantage that he possessed in that possession. Ooh, Reese got caught with a forearm in the head.
No whistle. And now the backdoor to first. A whistle before the dunk. 2 free throws coming for Caleb First when we get back.
14 points already in the paint, 11 of 16 from the field are Purdue. That's 69%. It's going to be tough to stop that train from rolling if you can't deny them a little bit and make Purdue work a little bit harder on the offensive end.
And Purdue just imposing their will, imposing their size, plus 11 on the glass, dominating the paint, and up 28-14. First has 4 points.
And Caleb First, I'm telling you, tremendous compliment to Edey. In terms of his ability to knock down free throws, shoot the three, doesn't force things on the offensive end, and plays with great energy.
Jameer Young tries a little pocket pass. He gets it back, lets it fly. Air ball.
Ethan Morton makes life difficult on opposing teams' top scorers. His size seems to be bothering Jameer Young here early in this game.
I don't think there's any question. Young is 0 of 5 from the field right now. Edey to first. What a tandem, but he missed it.
So Maryland doesn't get any easy looks. Everything is difficult. Nice double by Edey.
Reese, the twin towers around him. Hart.
Oh, look at Ethan Morton move, help, get back to his man.
Scott traveled, lost his balance.
That was a tremendous defensive possession by Purdue, but in particular, Ethan Morton did a great job of helping off of his primary defender, gets back to his defender, and then causes the turnover.
Purdue's defense, we talk so much about their offense, but they're ranked one of the best in the country on the defensive side, according to Ken Pom as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a guy on the back line in Edey that can clean up mistakes. Ethan Morton, one of the better on-ball defenders in the conference. Everyone else is locked in and playing great team defense.
Open look, Brandon Newman, too much. Knocked out of bounds, belongs to Maryland. That Purdue defense was on display Thursday against Minnesota, held Minnesota to 39 points at 31% from the floor.
Yeah, that was a dominant performance, and people will say, well, it's Minnesota. Minnesota had been playing much better basketball as of late, so can't take anything away from Purdue. They were ready in that particular game.
And Minnesota, I mean, battling Garcia can score it.
Yes, they can. And Pharrell Payne, even though he's a freshman, he's got a Big Ten body.
Reese, that's what they need more of from number 10 right there.
Yeah, I just think Julian Reese sometimes is just not aggressive enough. He has those opportunities. Quick, lefty. Oh, this is good pressure by Maryland.
first in some trouble, and now going to take a timeout. But I think before that, a 10-second violation, because the shot clock shows 19 seconds. And yes, I think they're going to rule it a turnover.
Great scramble by Maryland right there to cause that. Going to see a little bit more of that full court pressure. They need extra possessions. They also need to get this young man downhill.
And then there is a foul, second on Brandon Newman.
And Julian Reese taking it to Kaufman-Wren. It's a nice move to get to his sweet spot. Maryland can get him in position to do a little bit more of that.
Sophomore from Baltimore, just loads of potential. Young off his leg, and they'll say it belongs to Purdue. Fifth Maryland turnover.
Boy, Jameer Young looking around at the officials for a call, but none to be had. Ethan Morton making life difficult for him. This is where Smith is difficult to contain.
He finds Caleb first. Reese grabs the board.
Even on the miss, that's a high percentage look. Clean look from three.
There's Morton all over Young again. Hart kicks it out. Young yet to hit a field goal. Averaging 26 points a game over the last three. And he still cannot get it to go.
So even when he does get a look, he's rushing because Morton's size is really, really bothering him.
And Morton's 6'7", 215, and has been disruptive since the start.
Bodying him, trying to keep him from his going downhill left, forcing right.
Got a hand in there, did hard, but he knocked it out of bounds. There's 9 on the shot clock.
All things considering, with the foul trouble and the turnovers and lack of offensive execution, Maryland's not in a bad position.
I think if they could get it to single digits by intermission, Kevin Willard would probably be pretty happy.
They'd have to be happy. And let's see what they can do in this shortened shot clock here.
Newman, he's going to have to put this up. Well, he got bailed out. And it's going to be a 1-and-1.
Oh, Hakeem Hart is a senior. You got to know better in that scenario. Got to know the shot clock's running down. Newman's trying to clear space. You just can't crowd him in that situation.
Hart now has 2 fouls. He becomes the third Terrapin to hit the 2-foul mark this half. And Brandon Newman, who turned 22 last Sunday, knocks down the first free throw.
I really thought Brandon Newman was going to be a breakout star this year, had everything moving in that direction. And not that he's not fulfilling his role with Purdue. I just thought it would be a little bit bigger. But with Fletcher Loyer and Braden Smith, the way that they play, there's no doubt that they need the majority of those minutes.
Yeah, it's been hard to get him off the floor.
That's right.
9 different Purdue players have scored in this game, and they're up 15.
Oh, nice switch by Kaufman-Wren on to Jameer Young.
Now Reese has a size advantage. Here comes the double. Young. Shot clock at 2. Scott. Rebounded Kenneth first.
Great defense by Purdue. Excellent job of forcing Scott into a rushed look as the shot clock was expiring.
They're holding Maryland right now to under 32% from the floor, just like they did against Minnesota on Thursday. Newman in traffic. And a rebound to Young. He had Hart for a second up ahead. He says, I'll take it myself. Morton with a rejection. But Morton was standing out of bounds when he touched it. What a defensive performance here in the first half. And the defense, again, in conjunction with the offense, so good this season for Matt Painter and his crew. Purdue doesn't have a field goal in almost 6 minutes, and yet in that time they've expanded the lead over Maryland.
Yeah, so Matt Painter, he does a fantastic job, he and his staff, of getting their guys locked in and focused. You've seen teams go through different spells in the Big Ten thus far, but Purdue has by far been the most consistent.
Well, good job there. Julian Reese taking it right at Edey.
That's how you have to do it. You have to go through the big fella's chest to nullify his shot blocking ability. And Reese has showed us what he's capable of doing.
He's got 6 here in the first half.
See, that pressure has been effective because it's already 15 on the shot clock. So Purdue really having to work to get into their offense.
Morton hit the rim, try to get it down there to Edey. Long, great pass.
Long really helps this Maryland ball club when he's on the floor. He's really not looking to score, so the ball moves.
Yeah, he helped create that shot, but Hart left it short. Maryland is just 2 of 9 from long range, and that has been a struggle. 3-point shooting for them all season long. In fact, their 3-point shooting is 294th in the country, under 31%. Edey, that was too easy.
Great pass. Fletcher Lawyer on the move with the bounce pass. Hit Edey right in the spot. Maryland got to get better pressure on that inbounds pass. If not, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Edey's got 9.
Double.
And Scott through the hands of Carey, but he recovers. Shot clock at 7. Hart tries to wrap it around. Beautifully done. Count the bucket for Reese, and he's going to the line.
One of the few times Maryland's gotten their half-court offense to result in an open look. But let's go back. Look at that bounce pass. So made it look easy, but on the move, hitting Edey right point blank in front of the rim. Nice wraparound by Hakeem Hart. The beneficiary of the foul and one opportunity is Reese.
Julian Reese, whose sister Angel is also a basketball star. She was at Maryland, now at LSU. Such an athletic family. He's got the 3-point play, and now he gets a breather.
They would allow him to stay, but that's a good move with him having 2 fouls. Want to get him through this half without picking up his 3rd. I like this call by Maryland. They've had a little bit of success defensively with this zone.
Lawyer leaks in off the window. No. The other direction, Hart. 2-on-2. Trailing is Scott. But that Purdue defense recovers. Scott, though, gets an open look. And another Purdue rebound.
See, here's a problem that I have, Brandon. You have a 2-on-1 situation, and guys are running to the 3-point line instead of running to the buckets for a layup.
Edey cannot clean it up, and Scott with a board from Maryland.
And that's not just a problem with Maryland. That's in today's college game. Guys don't run to the rim. They're running to the 3-point line, and Maryland has an empty possession as a result. I never knew the layups were out of fashion.
Well, you know the coaches are preaching that. Well, coming up, Rob Stone, Casey Jacobson in Los Angeles. They'll talk about the state of the Big Ten right now, and we'll talk about the Indiana Rubber Man, a.k.a. John Wooden, also known as the Wizard of Westwood.
Yeah, you learn something new every day, right?
Has some Purdue ties, of course. In the corner, Don Carey, or they can't buy a bucket from deep. That went off the leg of Gillis, so it will stay with Maryland.
Well, that's about the cleanest look that Maryland's gotten from long range here in the first half. And yet with this dominant performance, they're only down 12.
Yeah. If they just could have gotten a couple of those threes to fall, they're now 2 of 11. But as I said, that's been an issue for them all season.
Yeah, just haven't found the range and been consistent.
Kevin Willard, though, he feels like they've got good shooters, and that's not going to help him. Hakeem Hart just picked up his 3rd personal foul.
Once again, one of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates in the Big Ten, Ethan Morton, putting his body in harm's way and picking up yet another possession that quite possibly end the half for Purdue.
Well, Kevin Willard had to gamble with all these guys with 2 fouls, so he kept Hart out there, but that's a risky run. Now he got before half.
Well, and Hart's had a couple of questionable plays as senior. I'd be a little bit more aware of your particular foul situation and that one foul that he had on Brandon Newman towards the end of the shot clock.
Speaking of the shot clock, it is off. Final seconds of the half. Edey, good kick out. Gillis. Edey, yes. The exclamation mark to end the half. Purdue leads it by 14. So you think about Purdue the last game. They held Minnesota to 12 points in the first half. Now Maryland just to 21 here today.
Yeah, so Maryland's going to have to figure out how to get some easier looks. Everything they have gotten is really working hard one-on-one. Try to force some turnovers and maybe get up the floor a little bit before this defense can get set of Purdue.
Here's Edey. Now Morton will take a 3. He struggled from deep this year, and he misfires there. Hart in transition gets the bucket.
That's how you get back in the game if you're Maryland. You got to get to the hole quickly. If Zach Edey's on the back line, it's limited to what you're going to be able to get. Now Maryland dropping back into a matchup zone. It looks like.
Down inside Edey. Reese trying to defend him. No whistle, and he airballs it.
Maryland pushing now with intent.
Jameer Young still scoreless. 0 of 7 from the floor. Their leading scorer on the season. Reese powers it in, and he gets fouled by Caleb First.
I like that move there. Julian Reese getting aggressive. And with the rip through getting along the baseline. The Terrapins getting out on the fast break. Akeem Hart, the easy deuce.
Maryland so far in this game just 1 of 2 at the foul line. But Purdue is one of the best in the country at defending without fouling. They're 6th best, as a matter of fact. Their free throw discrepancy, Purdue with their opponents, is just ridiculous. Purdue has made over 300 free throws. Their opponents after that make 131.
And so that's a great illustration of Purdue being a positional defensive team. They don't take a lot of chances. And if there's a breakdown, Zach Edey on the back line, one of the best mistake erasers in college basketball.
But a great start for Maryland here, getting the first 4 points of the second half.
Coming out of the halftime break with some intensity.
Morton scoops it up. And a rebound down to Dante Scott.
Got numbers if he get downhill.
Can they get this man on track? This would help. Well, Young is now 0 of 8. Reese, though, taps it out to Hart.
That's a high IQ play by Julian Reese. Recognized he couldn't get both hands on the basketball. Boy, Maryland they're not on the same page, Brandon.
But Scott, out of all that, gets a great look, knocks it down, and all of a sudden, this is a 7-point game.
Boy, Matt Painter throws his hands up in disgust that time.
Closest Maryland has been since early on in the first half. Edey in the lane, and he gets fouled. He'll head to the stripe.
Well, they got right there. It looked like there's a little defensive communication lapse by Purdue that allowed Dante Scott to get that 3. But you see Don Carey talking to him. They're trying to get on the same page.
The foul, by the way, was on Reese, so now he has 3. He and Hart each with 3 personals.
And in that situation, Reese has just got to put his hands up, Brandon. No sense in trying to swipe down on Edey. You had him in pretty good position. If he makes that turnaround shot at the Big Ten emblem, so be it.
Edey gets 1 of 2 to stop the 7-0 run.
An impressive start by the Terrapins coming out of the halftime break. Let's see if they can continue the momentum here.
Hart tries to find Reese, knocked out. And it'll stay here, 13 on the shot clock.
That was nice action there. Hakeem Hart goes in the post. Purdue doubles. Just couldn't connect on the pass, but I like the action.
Stays frustrated. He turns it over.
Young's trying to get some space to go one-on-one, but he dribbled into two defenders.
Now Edey. Is it offensive? Yes. They say his elbow caught the face of Dante Scott.
And I think, yeah, they're going to look at that. And unfortunately, that's just Edey being 7'4". No harm intended, I don't think. He's just trying to turn, but right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he meant anything by it. He's just 8 inches taller than Dante Scott.
Yes.
But the officials, Courtney Green and Terry Oglesby, are over at the monitor taking a look.
Mackey Arena is getting a chance to see the replay now, and they're not in agreement.
The good news for Purdue, it's only the second foul on Zach Edey. He got one in the first 90 seconds of the game, and then that's his second.
And, I mean, I'm good with the charge, the offensive foul. I'm good with that. Just play on. Because if Zach Edey at 290 pounds had some intention of throwing elbows, Dante Scott would not get off the floor. But we have a veteran officiating crew. They'll get it right.
Yeah, the other one I didn't mention, John Gaffney. These guys have worked a ton of games. Courtney Green is walking over here to tell us the verdict. They actually called the foul on Dante Scott. Now, Steven has his headset off talking to the official. When Steven comes back, he'll explain what Courtney Green told him. All right, Steven, you're back. What did Courtney say?
So they're saying Dante Scott was in the cylinder for Zach Edey. And so they're reversing the call here. And Dante Scott is not particularly pleased, but I see what they're saying in terms of crowding Edey and the fact that he was in that cylinder. So call goes the other way.
Wow. So Edey still with just one foul. That's the first foul on Dante Scott. Get it down to Edey again. One-on-one with Reese.
Nice stunt there by Hakeem Hart.
Too strong for Lawyer, and Hart grabs the rebound.
Hart faked like he was going to go down and double team, made Edey pick up the basketball. That's good defensive action by the Terrapins.
Scott, the senior from Philly, up top. Around it goes and back down into Julian Reese. Reese, the sophomore southpaw, no. They say it's off of Caleb First in Purdue.
I like Julian Reese here in the second half. That's an aggressive move. He's going right through Edey's chest.
Well, they changed the possession. John Gaffney, the other official, came in and they switched the call. It belongs to Purdue.
Maryland gets right back into their full court pressure.
Ooh, almost got a steal, but it gets to Morton. What a steal by Edey.
Ideally, if a team pressures you full court, you want to make them pay on the other end by going to get layups. That's exactly what Purdue did.
Hart spinning. Great drop off. Reese, two-handed jam.
Well, where was this intensity from Maryland in the first half? They haven't been perfect here, but their energy is making things happen for them.
Yeah, Purdue was the aggressor the first 20, but Maryland looks like a different team so far in the second half. And Julian Reese has 13. Nobody else from Maryland has more than 5.
Almost comes up with the steal.
Edey cannot follow it. Well, now he's just padding his stats.
He's a little upset with himself as well. Doing the Moses Malone, huh?
Wasn't the prettiest sequence, but it all worked. He's got 14. Thirteenth all-time meeting between these programs. They never met until Maryland came into the league in 2014. And the cold three-point shooting continues. Terps 3 of 14.
Boy, look at the Terrapins. They're scrambling defensively here. They're in rotation. Nice job of recovering, though.
First full two-man game.
You just don't see guys the size of Caleb First do the things that he does. That's a guard action when you feed the post and you cut off the post and look for the big on the pass. Excellent job by Caleb First.
And there is the first bucket for Jahmir Young, who in the last 3 games had 30, 20, and 26.
Tell you what, if your leading scorer just scored their first 2 and you're only down 10 on the road, Maryland should feel pretty good.
Let's see if that gets Jahmir Young going, the Charlotte grad transfer. Braden Smith on the baseline. Sometimes he gets up in the air, you wonder where he's going to go, and he always figures it out. Battle for the board off the Edey miss, and it comes down to Young. 2-on-1, hard catches and finishes. Foul as well.
And Hakeem Hart, the recipient of a gift right there, because I didn't see the contact at all. You see Foster Lawyer flying by, but the concentration at the bucket, and Hakeem Hart with a chance for an old school three-point play.
Second half, Maryland 5 of 8 after they shot 32% from the floor in half number 1. And Hakeem Hart, Roman Catholic High School in Philly, was a Philly Catholic League Player of the Year as a senior, and now he's a senior at Maryland. And I said it in the first half, but he and Dante Scott, they're the guys that have been around. Kevin Willard's a first-year guy. It's kind of their team. They're the leaders of this club.
I agree, Brandon, because you're talking about Jahmir Young transfers in. Don Carey transfers in. Julian Reese really didn't get a chance to play starter minutes last season. So Hart and Scott have to lead the charge with this Maryland ball club in terms of finding consistency in Big Ten play. But they've done a good job here to start the second half.
And they've got this down to a 7-point game with still 14 minutes remaining.
I like when Maryland goes to this zone. They've had some success doing it.
And Purdue, that's going to be a turnover. It's got to be. It's in the backcourt. Yeah, so it's Maryland basketball. And even if Morton wasn't out of bounds, the ball went into the backcourt.
Exactly.
So.
No one from Maryland touched the basketball, so that's got to be a turnover.
Kevin Willard's face turned slightly red to very bright red. He was out.
Yeah, he was out of bounds. So either way, it's going to be Maryland basketball.
8 Purdue turnovers, 7 from Maryland.
This is one of the few times where you've seen Purdue's backcourt struggle with a little bit of pressure. Usually they're ice cold in their veins, and thus you see David Jenkins now on the floor for Purdue.
Time of the shot clock. Here's Scott. Rise and fire. And Jenkins grabs it for the Boilers.
Pretty good set defensively for Purdue. Now Maryland, last time in the zone, now they go back to man-to-man, just trying to give these Boilers some different looks.
Here comes the double. Edey throws it away. Young. And he's fouled by David Jenkins on the floor.
It wasn't a bad foul by David Jenkins, actually. He's off balance, and Jahmir Young's going downhill.
There's a 9th Purdue turnover.
Great anticipation by Young on the weak side. I think right there, keeping Jahmir Young from getting into his shooting motion.
Kevin Willard asked them to review this to see if there was a need for something more than a common foul with David Jenkins kind of wrapping up Jahmir Young. So they're going to go look at it.
I thought David Jenkins did a decent job with his right hand trying to get to the arm of Jahmir Young. I can understand why Willard wants them to take a look.
Well, it was a quick look, and they say common foul.
So you'll see that's where it looked worse than I think it was. His left hand kind of touched the back of Jahmir Young. But that's a veteran of NCAA play, so David Jenkins.
Veteran is an understatement. Today is David Jenkins' 144th college game, his 6th year in college. And there's Jahmir Young. Can they get him going? But so hot the last three, just 2 points here today. Steal by Lawyer.
Mason Gillis forced that turnover, did not allow Scott to turn the corner, was physical with him, forced him into that turnover.
Maryland coming off a game which they only had 6 turnovers in the win against Michigan. Lawyer can't get it. There's Edey. Already has a double-double. Jenkins open look.
Wow, great hustle.
But Gillis falls out of bounds. And Maryland dodged the bullet because David Jenkins, his specialty is three-point shooting, and he got a great look.
He got a great look, and then Edey got the offensive rebound. I thought he was going to go back up with it. Chose to give it up.
But David Jenkins, he was talking the other day, it's been frustrating for him because this year just 9 of 39 from 3, but he was 40% last year at Utah from deep.
Well, you know, he was getting more consistent minutes at Utah. He's having to play behind Braden Smith, so when you're coming off the bench, it's a little bit more difficult to find your range on a consistent basis.
Down the lane, Young, great drop off. Reese with another dunk.
See, that's what Jahmir Young does well. He may not score, but he puts a ton of pressure on the defense when he can get downhill.
And he has 4 assists now to lead the team. Down to a 5-point game. It has not been this close since about 7 minutes into the contest.
I like this change in defense once again.
Edey, he likes the change in defense as well.
Oh, no, that's a great move. And you know what? You're going to give some of that up if you're Maryland. They take a tough shot. He got it off the glass. He had to work through a couple defenders. That's all you can ask.
Hard rejected. Edey swats it out of bounds. Timeout on the floor.
Big fella find his rhythm.
First 6 games this year, he averaged 15 points a game, but he hasn't been over 10 since until today. And here a nice pass, but Hart missed it. And the three-point woes continue, 3 of 16.
I do like that decision from Reese, though. I thought he was going to try to take a difficult shot over Edey. With a nice pass out to Hart.
Either team's been able to hit threes, but Purdue hasn't needed them. They've got a guy that's 7'4" that can do that.
And Braden Smith and Edey do such a good job of that ball screen action. Purdue lifts the weak side, so you have to make a decision. And generally, Edey ends up with a dunk or an easy deuce.
Off the glass and a good bucket that time by Young.
Well, Young can get to that strong left hand. Well, he is difficult to stop. He may not be tall at 6'1", but it doesn't matter. He seems to be able to finish over taller defenders with ease.
Scored 20 points a game last year at Charlotte before grad transferring in for one final season in College Park. And back in his zone here?
Little matchup now. They show you zone and they go to man-to-man towards the end of the shot clock.
Gillis high arcing. Offensive rebound. And Edey sticks it home. He's got 20.
Nice job by Zach Edey. Not fouling, corralling the offensive glass, understanding that Reese is in foul trouble. No hesitation, go back up and finish. Boy, David Jenkins read that play very well. Look at that. That was designed to get Young going to his strong hand. Jenkins was all over it.
Martinez being bumped, and he does get the whistle. Foul on Braden Smith.
Braden Smith coming downhill. Look at the attention he draws. And Edey fills in the blank there on the roll. And then nice job by Jameer Young. Going off glass, getting the defender on his hip.
And now Martinez, first Costa Rican player to play Division I Power Conference hoops. Went from Costa Rica to high school in California, was a 4-star. 1 year at Utah, now in his second season with the Maryland Terrapins.
Yeah, I got to get to Heredia is where he's from. I've been to San Jose and Jaco, Costa Rica.
Food good?
Food's good. Weather's excellent.
I bet.
Oh, man. Heck of a place.
Yeah, Martinez gets both. You know, Maryland, they're just hanging around here. At intermission, they had nothing going for them. Purdue was in total control, but give them credit how they responded.
They have responded. I think Kevin Willard challenged them at halftime. I'm not sure if he was pleased with their competitive level, but they certainly picked it up.
Facing a Purdue team that is 18-1, their best start in school history. Their only loss here against Rutgers on January 2nd. Edey against Swanton Roger this time. Now Newman. Tapped out, rebound to Maryland. Crowd wanted a double dribble, but the officials say that it was tapped and bobbled. Scott cuts in. Gillis falls. Well, that did everything but drop.
Boy, Scott put a shoulder into Gillis. You do not see Mason Gillis fall that often defensively.
No, he's a solid rock at 230 pounds. Speaking of falling, Braden Smith goes tumbling to the floor, and the foul is on Dante Scott.
Braden Smith, I mean, when he comes off of that ball screen action, he is going hard. And if you don't pick him up, he'll either get all the way to the bucket or he'll be a nice, easy dump off for Edey.
That Minnesota game, maybe the best of his season. 19.7 rebounds, 7 assists in the win on Thursday. Been quieter today, though, Braden Smith.
And he's a gamer and loves the competition. You know, he's got that sleeve on his leg there because he's constantly on the floor, coming up, you know, with torn skin and diving for loose balls. He's just a tough competitor.
Really good article on him this week in The Athletic by Brian Hamilton about that sleeve and his background. I mean, Smith was the 196th ranked recruit in this year's class, and now look what he's doing for the #3 team in the country. Young drives. Oh, he tried to hammer it down. Well, it goes out of bounds. They'll say, though, it stays with Maryland. His lawyer was the last to touch it.
See, I love that aggressiveness because he thought Zach Edey was going to come over for the block. So you go for keeps. This is his offhand. He thinks Edey's going to jump. I like that.
It looked great until it did down inside to Reese. Hart's got a size advantage here. Carey, 2 to shoot. Got to get it up. They did, and it goes right at the end of the shot clock.
Boy, they were fortunate that time. I thought he wasn't going to get down. Carey giving it up with that short of time on the clock. That usually results in a turnover.
Maryland showing a little moxie, a little resolve here on the road. A team that started 8-0 this season, was ranked 13th in the country, but they've lost 6 of their last 10. Edey has it taken away. Up ahead, Hart, all alone. And we've got a 5-point game in West Lafayette.
Boy, Maryland, I tell you what, they start out in the zone, then they go man-to-man, and it's really confused the Boilers here the last few possessions. Doing a great job of stunning on Edey to make it look like they're going to double team to get him to kick the ball out of the post.
Edey a timeout. See Alabama up here like, wait, is this a football grab? No, this is basketball. They are legit.
They are really legit.
What a win, though. A long way to go, down 5. But, I mean, if Maryland could get this, obviously just a gigantic boost to their resume. Right now, Mike DeCourcy has him as an 11th seed, but we're so far from the actual brackets coming out. Taken away by Jameer Young. And Young steps through. They will say the basket does not count. The foul is before the shot.
We've got to change this rule in college basketball. That's an and one opportunity. I'm not getting on Courtney Green, but the way that the game is called, this is an and one opportunity. Look at Young get downhill. He's in the shooting motion. We've got to change that rule in college basketball.
I think the Maryland bench and Kevin Willard certainly agrees with you. Getting it into Don Carey. A chance to make it a one-possession game, and Reese continues to have a big afternoon. He has 17 now.
Great action by Maryland. Getting downhill, drawing Edey for the shot block, dropping it off to Reese for the easy deuce. Maryland found a recipe here going downhill in the second half.
Purdue sprinted out to a 27-11 lead, but in the second half, it's Maryland plus 11. Edey can't get it, but a whistle and a foul. That's 4 fouls now on Julian Reese. That's a big call.
Yeah, John Gaffney had a late whistle there, but good job on the drop-off. That's a beautiful pass and an even better finish by Reese. Jumping to the side of Caleb first and getting the bucket.
You've got 6:37 left. If you're Kevin Willard, do you leave Reese out there? It looks like, well, I was going to say he is, but just as I say that, Swanton Roger is going to the scorer's table.
No, I think you got to get him out of the game because Reese has been your one consistent offensive threat. If he goes out, because you know that Matt Painter, if he stayed in, Matt Painter was going to call Edey's number in an isolation situation.
So more big minutes for the freshman from Alberta, Canada, Swanton Roger. Edey gets it back to 5. Jameer Young dancing inside. Swanton Roger offensive board.
That's heck of an effort by Jameer Young. Looked like Caleb First is going to come up with that rebound. Young fought for that.
Young from the elbow. Got it. Back to a one-possession game.
Jameer Young. Such confidence. Most players with him struggling the way they did in the first half will be reluctant to be this aggressive.
Boy, Lawyer barely, and I mean barely, got that across the timeline.
Well, this pressure is bothering Lawyer and Smith.
Well, the one loss Purdue had against Rutgers, the pressure bothered them.
Yeah, and these bigger guards. Maryland's got some nice size guards as well. Ooh,
what a pass indeed.
That was beautiful. Nothing wrong that Maryland did. That's just better offense.
Scott falling, and a foul on Caleb First to Purdue.
Now this is old school Big Ten basketball on display. Nice job by Braden Smith getting downhill, drawing the defender for the shot block, but giving it over to Zach for a nice alley-oop.
Edey now with 6 dunks today. Carey set play to get him a look, but he missed it.
Good execution by Maryland. Got the look he wanted.
Now 3 of 17 from three-point land, the Terps. Right through the hands of Edey. The other direction, Hart. Rejected by Morton. And Morton was standing. Now
Wait a minute. Oglesby's going to change this. Terry Oglesby's got to change this. I thought he was coming to Courtney Green to talk to him.
They're saying Purdue basketball get a look at this.
Now watch the block. I think this should be Maryland ball, though, because I thought Morton went for to save the ball in bounds.
Well, we need to see the end of it. It hit off the face of Maryland, and that's what they're saying, that it was out before it was touched. But 5-point game inside of 5 minutes. Edey, offensive. Wipe the bucket away. Here's another look at the end of this out-of-bounds play. Boy.
That's not right.
And then this is the charge.
Yeah, so couple bang-bang plays here.
Well, they say the ball don't lie, right? So maybe,
good point.
Maybe Maryland at the end of that deserved the basketball.
Good point, Brandon.
My goodness, offensive. Turn it into a boxing match. Maryland now has Hakeem Hart and Julian Reese with 4 fouls.
Maryland trying to figure out and trying to
Fletcher, the lawyer, I don't know.
Yes, it's contact both ways.
Yeah. This is such a tough game to officiate.
I was getting ready to say, I would not want to be on that side of things.
It has just been so physical. Now a whistle on Martinez.
And so when you're in a game of this magnitude with this type of energy in the building, your upperclassmen have to settle you down and stay on point on both sides.
Turnover again by Purdue. Jahmir Young lays it in. The pressure getting to Purdue again. They now have 14 turnovers.
Excellent job by Maryland anticipating those passes. High hands, active hands.
The Purdue team that averages less than 11 miscues a game. Another bump on Martinez, and now both teams are in the bonus here for the final 4:03.
Look at the anticipation by Jahmir Young, and gets the finish at the other end.
Well, after the last 3 games for Jahmir Young, where he had 30, 20, and 26, Kevin Willard said, look, nobody's paying attention, but Jahmir Young's playing as well as anyone in the nation. He didn't in the first half, but he's had a really good second half.
He has, and what I like about his game, typically scores, if they had the first half that he had, they would be ineffective in the second. But what he's done is he's picked his energy up on the defensive end, and that's bled over to the offensive end.
Meanwhile, Braden Smith, one of the best free throw shooters, not only in the Big Ten, but in the country. And he calmly knocks down both. Yeah, so those 7 turnovers, Maryland just 3 this half. They've taken better care of the basketball. That's the reason, at least one of the reasons, we've got a 1-possession game. By the way, there was no timeout that took us to that under 4 break. There was a delay of game called on Purdue.
That's right. David Jenkins was asked by Terry Oglesby to continue to play. I don't know why Jenkins did not. So the next time that happens, that's a technical foul on Purdue.
Cross-court skip, Caleb first.
Pretty good closeout that time by Dante Scott.
Now you got to put it up. Morton off the front of the iron, and here goes Hart in transition. Again, Maryland has never led. They could tie it with a 3 here. Jahmir Young, who has come alive in the second half, gets it up. Now he gets it back.
Young's going to have to make something happen.
He's going to try right here. Got his own miss. Hart. Back to Young to tie the game. Offensive board, Julian Reese. What a game number 10 is having for the Terps.
Best one of the season, in my opinion, in the biggest moments as well.
Young surveys up top. Carey. Shot clock at 2. Scott forces it. And a rebound comes down to Braden Smith. Smith down the lane. No, first can't get it either.
Maryland's got numbers if they hurry. Braden Smith is slow to get up the floor.
Reese in the post. He's got 19 points. 2 minutes left in West Lafayette. Reese. And Edey.
There's a foul or something there. I mean, that's just too much contact.
Kevin Willard wanted it, so did Julian Reese, but he didn't get the whistle. Well, both teams kind of hit a little bit of a drought here out of that timeout.
Yeah, they're playing so hard. All the Terrapins and Boilers.
Warriors hit some big shots this year. Edey comes down to Morton. And Braden Smith calmly collects the Purdue offense and resets. Whistle, and Matt Painter, who has 3 timeouts left, says, I'll use one of those here. Purdue just controlled the first 20 minutes, but it has been a different story here in the second half. Edey. Now Braden Smith into the shot clock. Just got it up, but that didn't hit the rim. The officials realize it, and that's a shot clock violation.
Boy, good scramble defense by the Terrapins that time. Edey caught the ball. They forced him to kick it out of the post. And Braden Smith not able to hit the rim.
If you're Maryland, where do you turn? I think you start with Jahmir Young.
Yes, you try to get a high ball screen. That's what they've been trying to do here the last half of this half. Let's see if they can get it done. Here comes Julian Reese.
Young with the basketball now. He's got 8 here, all in the second half. He drives, Euro steps. And it comes down to Jenkins. Inside of a minute, Purdue not in any hurry.
Wasn't bad execution, just couldn't get it to drop.
Well, Matt Painter now with 1 timeout as he takes it here with 49.3 remaining.
I mean, Young got all the way down the hill and just could not finish at the bucket, but pretty good call by Kevin Willard and his staff.
Purdue on top of the Big Ten at 7-1. Again, their only loss here on this court against Rutgers January 2nd. And Maryland, this would be huge for a number of reasons if they could somehow find a way to pull this one out. But they got the win against Michigan Thursday, played a lot better, and the first half struggled today. But I think they've got a lot of things to point to in the second half and say that's the Maryland team we want to see going forward.
That's right. And it was really based on effort and energy. I mean, it wasn't tremendous shooting or anything like that. They just came out really fired up and matched the intensity of Purdue.
You and I will be there Wednesday for the matchup with Wisconsin, but this is what's coming up for Kevin Willard and the Terps.
So they've got to make up some ground now in Big Ten play with 3 straight coming at home. And, you know, these home games in this competitive conference, they're like gold.
Yep.
You got to take advantage of it.
Purdue will go to Michigan. That one on FS1 coming up. And then 3 of the following 4 back here at Mackey Arena.
So that Indiana ball club that we're seeing February 4th, that's going to be a fantastic matchup like always. But the Hoosiers have found something in the absence of Race Thompson and Xavier Johnson. I mean, they really spanked Illinois in Champaign, come back today and beat Michigan State. So Hoosiers starting to get to that level that people thought as a preseason favorite.
Yeah, those matchups are going to be big this year. All right, so you're Purdue, you're up 3, 21 to shoot. What are you doing here if you're Matt Painter, Steven?
I think they're going to get it inside to Edey and try to create some space and get Foster Loyer opposite of him in case there's a double team.
And no need for Maryland to foul, right? No possession game.
No.
There is Edey. 1 dribble, hook shot, too strong. First, though, with a huge offensive rebound. It's knocked out by Maryland. So now you've got a 15-second difference in the shot and game clock, and we'll see what Kevin Willard elects to do defensively.
See right there, Caleb first took advantage of Hakeem Hart on the offensive rebound situation. You see at the bottom of your screen right there, Hart trying to keep first off the glass, couldn't do it.
They're just playing straight up as expected here. Trying to challenge Braden Smith. Purdue has a timeout if they need it. Inside, dangerous pass. Edey to first. Blocked by Scott. Out of bounds. It belongs to Maryland. Now they will inevitably look at this. So to the monitor we go. If for some reason it would be overturned and it would be Purdue basketball, they would only have 1 second on the shot clock.
Outstanding defensive effort by Maryland that time. Nothing came easy for Purdue. There was a block there, and then we'll see what they end up calling. But regardless of the outcome of who gets the basketball, you tip your hat to the Maryland Terrapins.
It looked like off of Edey. Well, the official's going to get a longer glance at it. Purdue is 0 for their last 7. They haven't scored in almost 4 minutes. They're just trying to hang on for dear life here to get to 19-1. The 18-1 start is the best start for a Purdue basketball team in program history. That's tough to tell from that angle, because Julian Reese had his hand in there too. Boy, that's close. And remember, as we always say, the call was Maryland basketball.
Yep. But John Gaffney, they're going to get it right. Yeah, it's going to be Maryland basketball. Terry Oglesby motions to Maryland, so Maryland going to have a chance to tie this game up. But I want to stress that regardless of what that outcome was going to be, that was fantastic defense by Maryland.
Yep. Forcing
Edey to give it up. They've stunned very well. They've double-teamed him. They've given totally different looks to Purdue this second half. It's really flustered the Boilers.
Here's the issue for Maryland, though. Unless you go really quick, you need a 3, and they are 3 of 19 from outside the arc in this game.
Here's what I would do if I'm Maryland. If I can get downhill in the first 5 seconds and try to crash the offensive glass, they might get an and-one opportunity. Let's see. They got to go in a hurry.
15,000 making their presence felt. Jameer Young on the baseline. Out to Carey to tie it. Oh, no. Air ball. If it's a tie-up, and it is, it stays with Maryland.
Carey is complaining to Terry Oglesby that he got hit on the release.
Kevin Willard has 2 timeouts. But again, they ruled a tie-up in Maryland basketball with 6.8 left. I don't know. It looked pretty clean. And Carey tried to kick his leg out, too. He's got to be careful with that.
Exactly. You got to make the shot. You can't expect someone to bail you out in that scenario. And I know I'm going back to my day in college basketball, Brandon. You're not going to get that call. You just have to try to score the rock. Do not expect to get that call in that situation. Step up with confidence and take that look.
Each team with 1 timeout. So Maryland now 3 of 20 from 3. They tried to get a shot there for Don Carey, who was a great shooter last year at Georgetown. And he's made 226 threes in his career, but this season he struggled and he airballed this one.
So I like the call. I mean, you get downhill, you got a screen with Dante Scott. Carey got a really good look. Just didn't convert, but you know, if you're Maryland, I like why they went fast, Brandon, because now they have another chance with 6 seconds left. If you wait to try to get the last shot, you don't have a second opportunity.
Now, of course, Matt Painter has the option to think about fouling here on this possession as well.
And I'm always, you see him right there, mouthing the words foul before they get to the shooting motion.
Right, that's exactly right.
Now, you got to practice this, though. That's the only thing in college basketball. If you don't practice this, which obviously Purdue must, because he just made the motion to foul. So we'll see what Maryland does to try to combat that, because they've got to know that this may be coming.
This year, Hakeem Hart, who's inbounding the ball, has been the best three-point shooter that's on the floor at 36%. Young gets it, and Morton does foul. With 5.3 remaining.
Great decision there. Morton makes it look like he's going for the steal. Gets the foul. And now you got Caleb First and Edey inside on the rebound attempt in case Young is able to hit one and then tries to intentionally miss the second.
Folks, Purdue scored on the first possession of the game, 15 seconds in, and they have led ever since. They led by 15 at half, but Maryland has clawed their way back. And now Jahmir Young at the line. 80% shooter. And he calmly knocks down the front end. Each team with one timeout.
I think Jahmir Young's going to make this. I don't think he's going to try to miss. They'll try to get into their pressure defense.
Yeah, because 5.3 is enough time to foul, get it back, and get a good look. And Young does knock it down. It is a one-point game. Martinez comes back in.
Now look at the space that Purdue is working with right now. I like where Smith and Fletcher Lawyer are currently. They were trying to get the ball around that Big Ten emblem before, but they're almost at half court now. So it's giving them a lot more space to try to get open against this pressure.
Morton roaming on the baseline. He gets it in pretty easily, and there's the foul with 3.9.
No, I like that set by Purdue. You know, you're trying to deny the basketball, and you have to work so hard with all that space in the half court.
And Purdue got the man going to the line that they won, and Braden Smith, just south of 90% on the season. And the freshman today, 6 of 6 at the line.
Now, isn't that an oxymoron? The freshman being one of the best free throw shooters in the country.
But
amazing.
They say he's got ice water in his veins.
He does.
Young man from Westfield, Indiana. Not even dripping sweat out there in a moment like this. Unbelievable.
No, he's built for this.
Indiana Mr. Basketball at Westfield High School, about an hour from here, actually had his jersey retired at that high school last night. And now here he is one day later hitting 2 huge free throws to put Purdue up 3 with 3.9 to go, and we got a timeout.
That's seeing why he's so special. Just freshmen generally aren't that composed, and he knew exactly what he needed to do, almost like a business trip.
3.9 left. Maryland will have the ball. Edey, 24 points and 16 rebounds. Once again, the leader for Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue does such a great job of positioning him in the area in the paint where it's just almost impossible to stop him. Now, we'll give Maryland credit, though. In the second half, they made him cough it up a little bit. We're seeing some nice highlights, but the Terrapins have done a good job of limiting his opportunities down the stretch.
So Maryland now with the ball, and if you're Purdue, do you look to foul again?
I think you almost have to. And now that they've got to go full court, don't be surprised to see Maryland put it on the deck one time and then the foul.
Maryland is out of timeout. 15,000 standing here at Mackey Arena. 51st consecutive sellout. Trying to get this team to 19-1. Don Carey gets it to Young, and Morton got a hand on it, but back to Young to tie the game. Oh, they got a look, but it's off the mark, and Purdue hangs on.
A heck of a ball game. It looked like Maryland struggling in the first half. They came out in the second half determined to get back in this game. Did a great job. And great job by Purdue holding on for this victory because the Boilers have taken everybody's best shot.
Boy, they have. It looked like Morton might get the steal. It ended up turning out okay for Maryland. But Young just couldn't get it to drop. Pretty good defense there by Caleb first, too.
I agree. Made Young lean in a little bit more than he preferred.
And Maryland finishes the game just 3 of 21 from outside the arc. And Purdue at 19-1 is off to their best start in school history.